السلام عليكم دكيري كمان لكم كلكم دحان لكم مبارك بتسكيجونا لو معت دمامس ارتست صحفي دراسي ودع ستة تشعة عامت بتعمل دسبل ودنا دانيال ملقيتها والسكن علينا مالتي من البادو بحالة دقيقة قدم خونا في سكيجول كن اوريدي ستوديو ارتست له كنت انا وكوسدوكم يمو بعجبها تقبلوا لي بليز. Hello, Danny Mulugeta. How you been?
Hey, Engineer Fitzum, how are you?
I'm very pleased to see you right here. Thank you for accepting my invitation.
Of course.
Showing up on time is an experience.
Yeah, you always got to show up on time.
It is my pleasure. It's a lot of. I was just looking for it, and I saw you at a certain point, and you knows that you were a writer, an author, and I know how much energy it takes to be an author. And
Yes.
I was so happy to get you right here. It was so energizing to see a talented young man like you in our community doing his damage artistically. Writing a book is not writing an article, as you know. So we're going to discuss about all this, but first I would like to ask you a question. How do you describe Daniel Mulugeta in your own words?
Um, to describe myself, that's a good question. I like, I mean, that's a very vague question. How am I going to describe myself?
Who's like Daniel Mulugeta beyond this beautiful posture, beautiful physique?
I mean, in terms of like my hobbies and who I am a second year college student. Um, and I, like to read books, fix computers. That's what I'm actually majoring in. I'm majoring in IT, and I do like to read books, and obviously I do like to write books as well. And during my pastimes, I do like to play the guitar as well. So yeah, that's basically the summary of who I am as a person.
I mean, okay, you were born in America, I think.
Yes, I was. Yes, I was. I was born in 2004.
2004. Wow. Way after our independence is crazy.
Yeah.
I think about, I mean, how fast it went from that time on.
Yeah.
And then you identify yourself as an Eritrean, of course, coming from
Oh
Eritrea.
yeah. Yeah.
But how does it crisscross with that Black American identity at the same time, which you couldn't avoid as a Black man in America from African descent?
That is actually a really good question. When it comes to like my identity, that's something that has been, my parents made sure to know where I came from by putting me in the community, teaching me about the culture and the music and stuff like that. And by them helping me be immersed in Eritrean culture and made me be proud of who I am, whether it be the music, the culture, our lifestyle, and that just kind of helped me develop my character of who I am as myself. And as for me being an African American, I feel like a normal person, to really be honest with you. I don't really feel different from anyone else, but I do encourage people to try my culture every now and then. In fact, I remember encouraging some of my friends to try injera and stuff like that. So that's part of like, embracing your culture. That's you're embracing your background by asking others to try your culture. So yeah.
But was there any contradiction as such, like you knowing that she came from an Eritrean family, originally authenticate Eritrea in a different land where black the color matters a lot in American society, as you know, and you are already stigmatized, attached. That color issue is attached to you by just looking at you. Like me, people look at me, they know I'm black man here in America, more than they identify as a black man in Africa. We all are blacks, I'm saying the black experience in America also had a lot to do, a lot of things to do, to affect us some kind of way. You, as a black man, that identification, did it contradict some kind of way with your African roots? How did you blend it?
Um, I kind of felt more in touch with like my my parents' culture, which they're both from Eritrean. I come from Eritrean descent, despite being born in America. So I guess you could say in that sense that I'm more immersed in Eritrean culture than I am in American culture. I guess you could say, but that varies for everyone. It just depends on who you are as a person. You might be immersed in American culture if you're born here, and that's obviously more likely to happen because you're born into the American culture. It just really trickles down to your upbringing, in my opinion.
Absolutely beautiful answer. Of course, it's something you cannot avoid. You just accept and enjoy.
Yeah.
Uh, Danny, you are a successful kid. I'm sorry, when I say kid, I'm talking in relation to me, to my age. I hope you don't mind. I'm
I'm
talking
coming up on 20, so I don't know if you can call me a kid for long.
at that time. I will stop calling you a kid. I'll then call you sir. In fact, right now I'm dignified to call you sir because
Thank you.
son, writing a book, something had to trigger.
Yeah.
What triggered? What motivated you to just initiate it, to have the pen and start writing? What came to you at first?
What came into my mind was, I've always been passionate about Eritrean history ever since I was a little kid. I would always get books from the library. If I could find anything in regards to Eritrea, I would always read about it, find old articles on the internet and stuff like that. And around the age of 12 or 13, I just had like this random thought. It just came out of nowhere. And it was like, what if I wrote a book about Eritrea? And at that time, I didn't really know what exactly I wanted to write. That's the book that you just popped up right there, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah. That's actually my friend Henok. He bought the hardcover copy for me. And that's the book that I wrote. And when I was, huh?
the key shaped country. It's just a very interesting title.
Yeah.
How did it come to?
Well, when I think of like, when you look at Eritrea on the map, it's shaped like a key.
Wow.
If you turn like if I was to get my key, right? Like say for example my car key over here, turn it sideways, looks like Eritrea, right?
Good. Wow.
Yeah. So
So,
that's how I got it. That's how I got the title, and it's called My Key Shaped Country. And at the same time, usually keys are the symbol for freedom, to open yourself to
absolutely.
a whole different world. So that's how I got the title of My Key Shaped Country.
Did you get the title at the end of it, or like in the process of, like me as writer? I didn't know what I had to name my book until the end of it. A lot of things, a lot of contemplations. Then finally, I had to decide, thinking maybe this will reflect the collective idea in the book. How
Right.
was your experience in this aspect?
For me, it was the other way around. Believe it or not, I already thought of a title, but I didn't really want to. I didn't really know what I was gonna write, and mind you, I started this manuscript back in like January of 2018. So that's like almost 5 or 6 years ago when I started my manuscript, and it went through a lot of revisions, a lot of plot changes. But the one thing that really helped me the most was
Yeah,
just by talking to family members, especially those who actually like fought in the war and stuff like that. And through those experiences, and by also reading and watching documentaries of like the struggle for liberation, it kind of like inspired me to write a historical fiction of what went in place during those times as a way to remember our history and our past. So that was kind of like my end goal for the book.
very interesting. To my understanding, we got a lot of our kids here in the diaspora go different kind of directions.
Yeah.
Some smart kids go to school, to college, and some actually waste their lives in streets. In drugs and a lot of things, even in gangster kind of lifestyles all over the place. We've seen all this for kids with all the tests to come out successful like you
Hmm.
requires a very good background right there at home because that's where it starts, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Many
Yeah.
young people do not want to talk to many things about their parents, but the fact remains that they shaped you to be what you are right now. How do you dignify your background in public? an appreciation of your parents. What do you say about them to put you like this, to get you in shape, to produce a talented young man with a lot of future ahead? Why
Yeah.
you take the credit?
Growing up as a kid, I would always think my parents were like, a little bit over the top, overprotective, and that's just like the nature of every loving parent as I start to grow older and realize that they care for their kids, and that's only because they want to make sure that they're not only safe but doing well in life and become well accomplished in life. And for those reasons, I really respect my parents a lot for like raising me and helping me become the person that I am today.
I appreciate that. Do you have friends that influence you to that direction too? Maybe
Like, what do you mean?
friends, personal friends that.
Well, oh yeah. I mean, not only my parents were like, the factor of who I am today. It's also the people that I surround myself with that make me the person that I am today. It's like the saying that you are who you surround yourself with, and I tend to surround myself with people that share the same goals, aspirations, and visions, and that's to be successful, a decent, good person, and stuff like that. And my friends have really like help me become better people. They'll even like let me know if I'm doing anything wrong, and that's the true meaning of a friend. That's to make sure that not only that your friend is doing well in life, but to make sure that they're going on a straight path. So it's always good to have those kind of people in your life.
Did you ever pick up role models like other person, other kid? For
Like,
example,
what do you mean?
role model meaning. Of course, we're going to talk about that guitar. Guitar, for example, is
uh
an, in,
yeah.
an instrument that you told me you love. I actually, probably it was at your age that I picked my first guitar in Addis Ababa. And I
Hmm.
always had guitars. Actually, let me show you my guitar collection. No, I cannot show you from it. Unless I do. I'll show you later on.
Okay.
Guitar. You learn guitar. You learn how to play guitar. Musically,
I'm
you
learning.
okay, of course, everybody learns. But role models for your music, like role model for your book, that gave you the guideline, at least mentally, tell you like stimulate your consciousness into being like him or something like that.
Right. In regards to the book, I never well I don't remember having a role model, to really be honest with you, when it came to writing a book. It was just like a passion that I had by myself. It was like a side quest, I guess you could say. And yeah, as for the guitar, that was like a hobby that I picked up during COVID. Oh, it's a Gibson Telecaster Les Paul, and that looks like an Epiphone on the top
Something
right.
covered that maybe this slide, but these are the kind of guitars that I had through the years. I just hung them here. One of them is my brother's guitar. He committed suicide, and I have it right here. Long time ago. I
Oh
also
wow,
that's to
very
get.
sorry.
It was an experience, yes, life changing experience. But life goes on. I'm sorry, maybe I interrupted you. So you learn guitar.
Yeah,
You learn
I'm learning it. Yeah.
it. Is that your favorite instrument?
Yeah, I mean, it's the instrument that I'm learning right now, every now and then. You know.
Interesting. As you know, the book writing will open a lot of venues for knowledge. To my understanding, you try to discover something, you go researching about it, then you find out something you didn't know behind it. Then,
Exactly. Yeah, I actually had that kind of occurrence. When I was writing the book at the age of 13, I was going with like very rudimentary, basic knowledge. Like what my parents would always tell me was that there was Haile Selassie, and then there was this evil guy named Mengistu, and then there was the EPLF that removed him, and then came the state of Eritrea. But that at that time, I was too young to know the intricacies and all that. So when I got older, I started to like research during my spare time and really understand what happened back then. And through the amount of PDFs that I was able to find online and those documentaries that I watched, it really helped me get an idea of like what really went down during those years, during the 60 years, I believe, for the struggle for independence.
You ever been to Eritrea?
I have, in fact, as of last year,
You haven't.
I have. I went there last year.
What was your first impression?
My first impression, it was just great to see family, you know. I mean, the last time I was there from that time was 2012, and it just felt peaceful, you know, because we live in America, yeah, you have opportunities and stuff like that, but it's good to like disconnect from the internet and just be at peace and see family and friends. So that's the great thing about going back home.
Did you feel special attachment being in the, as like Eritrea, the roots, wherever you have become at the end of the day, anyway, immaterial of that? Did you feel special connection with Eritrea, or it was just like any other place?
Yeah,
Just
I mean, yeah, you're gonna feel a special connection because whenever you turn around, everybody's Eritrean, you know what I mean? Whereas in America, you don't see a lot of people that share the same ethnicity as you. Maybe you might run into a grocery with somebody that shares the same ethnicity as you and you get connected. But when you're in Asmara, you really feel connected with the people back home.
did you appreciate Asmara as a city?
I really did. Yeah, there was also Masawa and uh, what's that other city? It's south of Asmara. I really forgot. Mendefara. Yeah, I went to Mendefara too. Uh, what else? I forgot what's that one lake that's in the Mendefara. I forgot. I went there before. It's really close to my Nefi. There
Now,
we go. Yeah, that's my Nefi. Yeah.
well, there is a lot of things to be seen, as you know. Like I show you right there at the right screen, our struggle was fought at that time. I mean, it's not about only Asmara Masawa, and the real story of the Eritrean struggle is actually right here, right here. Agnors and Nafa, which sometime
Mhm.
you will get a chance to go and see. And I hope this is not the first time to go to Eritrea because you are interested about Eritrea. My question now is writing books takes time. So endurance, frustration, ups and downs, swings. Attention changed to my understanding. That was how mine was. I didn't even know how it, at the end, it came out to be completely different from what I told you.
Right.
In terms of time, how long did it take? How did you handle the patience area, the endurance? Like, am I going to finish it? I mean, new ideas have to come in this and that. And how did you conclude? Because it's hard to stop.
Yeah, you're right about that. Like when I first started writing my book, I mean, of course, life does happen and you can't like, continue writing a book for so long. There were times where I would stop writing a book for a couple of months, even at one point for a year. Because sometimes I think you heard of this term, it's called writer's block, and that's when you don't know what else to write, you know? But and also life, school happens. Sometimes you just may be preoccupied and just be very busy, but my goal is, despite whatever obstacles I ever go through, my goal is to get this book done by any means necessary. And it can even take 20 years if it needed to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But what really helped me expedite this, especially if we're going to write a book about the history of the struggle for independence, was talking to the people that fought in the war. Like I was even speaking to my uncle back home, and he was an EPLF fighter. I even spoke to some of the people that work at the Ministry of Education. They're Tagalog too. Just speaking to family members, friends. I even know some people in my community. They're Fedain, which are like really interesting things to hear. And whenever you hear all those experiences, it just gives you more and more ideas just to put in your book. And by also using the internet as well. I mean, the
Oh,
internet is
absolutely.
is a is a whole big library for you to use, and I'm able to understand the revolution and its intricacies deep down. So by being able to have that access to information and by being able to speak to other people about their experience during the struggle for independence, it just gave me so many ideas to put in my book as a historical fiction, by the way.
Very interesting. To me, although life as an Eritrean was extremely difficult, the kind of seesaws we went through, the kind of ups and downs, and all this, still this time in Chronicle, actually,
Yeah.
I think it was very romantic. If I had to repeat being Eritrean again in next life, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I love it, but I like to try something else too. You understand?
Right.
This experience, Eritrean experience, was really very interesting. That's why I named my book as The Curse of Being and Living It. The curse, meaning like being an Eritrean, sometimes is a curse, sometimes it's a blessing, of course, like anything else. The curse being the constant attack from the Ethiopians, constant pressure from the West, the kind of struggle we went through.
Hmm.
Therefore, it was very tasty. It was very delicious as it is.
Hmm.
Um, Now, as a writer, definitely something comes with writing books. They call it responsibility, to my understanding. The minimum a writer, an author can do is like put his words in practice to begin with. Everything that's put in that book will have to transmit some kind of way from practical point of view. You, as an author, as a teacher, you understand? It has to reflect, of course. What do you think? How responsible should an author be? I mean, somebody who writes, author is one of them. Writing lyrics in music is another thing because you're doing it to the audience that you expect. First of all, who was the expected audience in this deal?
Well,
And
first of
what was the
all,
message?
okay, so for the intended audience was mainly for the Eritrean diaspora. I do intend on some point to have this book translated into Tigrinya. In fact, I'm in the process of having that done. But the intended audience was for the Eritrean diaspora to like really understand the intricacies of the struggle for independence. And the responsibility that an author carries, especially when you're writing a book like this, is to make sure that whatever you write, even if it's a historical fiction, it has to be historically accurate. Because the last thing that you want to do is give a distorted perspective that is completely incorrect, and then that's just going to tarnish the whole book in of itself. So that's the one thing that I was very careful of, and that's why during my duration of writing this book, it has went through serious overhauls. It's like taking an engine out of a car and putting a brand new one in it, if you really think about it. Yeah, because at that time I was 13, right? And when you mature and when you get older, you start to really understand what happened, not just like the summarized and condensed version, the real history. So I had to do a lot of revision, and after 5 years, I was able to publish my book.
Well, that's in fact the average time. To me, I think it took me about 10 years. But
10 years?
yeah,
Wow.
what happened to me though is it expanded into, it became three books.
Wow.
And then
Trilogy.
I just kept on going, going. I couldn't stop. I went crazy. Finally, what I did was, let me show you something. Of course, the idea, like I told you, was I was accused of forced rape by a Kenyan Ethiopian during the Badima War. So that was the first idea. I had to tell the story, not about her, about how the United States justice system takes care of this business.
Hmm.
When I saw the police and the detective lying at court, I said, Jesus Christ, I got something to write about. So this is from Feminist Rapist, my first book.
Okay.
This but it didn't stop right here. It expanded, it went on, and this up produced another book.
Yeah, the curse of being and living in it.
Yeah, because I had to also tell my story before I can tell people what happened to me. I didn't know how to incorporate it, so the Eritrean struggle issue came up in one book, and the message that I wanted to tell became another book, and now I'm working on another book, my final book. In fact, I think I was destined to write 4 books. 3 of them are finished, 2 published. One is waiting, I don't know when, probably it will never. but the last one is coming on. All these initiations came from the first strike, from the initial point where I had to tell my story. But the fraudulent American system, justice system, and radical feminism that affected the whole society in America. So that's what I'm saying. In this kind of stuff, then you start writing a book based on some idea. You finished it after a lot of struggle. It took definitely 5 years. It's not writing an article here.
Mm-hmm.
So
And like at the end of the day, we all have our own pace. Like you, for instance, if it took you 10 years, you were probably busy with life. And for me, like we have a huge age difference. That's that's pretty obvious.
uh,
And you know, I was at school. I still am in school. So the amount of free time that we have to work on our book can be very different. So that I can really understand.
well, 5 years is a long time to go. It's
It
not.
is.
It's not like an article where you can finish writing it in a week.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
true.
I'm saying. But within this 5 years, though, the process should have generated another knowledge to be written here too, to my understanding. Like what happened to me. I thought this is all. This was it. But then another came. Now that produced another, and I'm just now running out of time because of aging. Okay. What I'm trying to say is, are you ready to write another book? Because it is some kind of story that is untold, unfinished, as the experience of writing your first book.
Well, when you start, you don't stop. That's one thing that I noticed when it comes to writing. Like when I started writing my book, even with the amount of obstacles that I, had to overcome when it came to writing the book, I was still able to get it done. And I may be writing another one in the future or a couple in the future. I don't know. Only time and God can tell. But yeah, that's the one thing that my mom also told me too. Like whenever you're an author, like you don't just write one book and then you say, you know what, I'm done with writing. You also write more. My grandfather also wrote a couple of books as well too, and that's also a good testament as well.
It could be hereditary. And the talent could be, to my experience, like the researching and finding something out opens another thing that you didn't know. That was my experience. I couldn't put all the ideas that were coming into my mind together in one book. Necessitated to write another book. But I wouldn't have written another book unless I started book the first one.
Right.
Now we're going to go to the responsibilities, like, of course, as a teacher, as a leader, as a person in college, also with bright future ahead. Too many knowledge is going to come. Too many responsibilities will be carried on.
I would need to keep all that knowledge on a whole different hard drive. It wouldn't fit in this head.
We're going to talk about the role of the youth in nation building.
Okay.
Basically, that was the main subject. A kid born in America suddenly starts contemplates writing a book at age 13. Very unusual, and completes it at the age 17, 18, whatever. And yet keeps going on to college. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'd like to congratulate your parents, your loved ones, for achieving all this collective success. As you focus as an Eritrean youth definitely have to take care of the business.
Hmm.
The challenges of Eritrea, it's all into you right now. The passing generation is gone. Someone has to continue.
The legacy. Yeah, that's the big elephant in the room right now. Yeah. That's something that I always think about too, even before I even go to sleep, because at some point we need to make sure that our youth is not only ready to continue the legacy, but are well equipped and strong enough to overcome any challenges that our country may face. So that's something that we definitely need to educate the youth on and make sure that they're involved in their country, whether it be in nation building, diplomacy, whatever it may be. I think it's really important that we immerse the youth in those sectors.
Interesting. Yeah, of course, the youth had to build the nation. Like right now, 2030, 1.6 billion Africans, and then about 60% of them in the age group below 30, 25 to 30, which you're going to be one of them at that point. You know that.
Yeah.
Africa is waiting for academic integration, economic, political integration, all that. Therefore, you guys have to compete with the African college students all over the place. Everything will be different. In your timing, things will be completely different. Africa now is going to produce young kids who communicate with each other, who go to school everywhere. Maybe no passports and all this. As you can see, you are blessed to be in this generation, but you are also challenged with a lot of.
There's blessings and there's curses. Yeah. That comes with every generation. Like in
What
your generation, you had good music, but at the same time, there were so many wars. That's a great example right
a
there.
generation lived in that area, sir. But yours will have to technologically do something in Eritrea.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
especially with this whole AI, Chat GBT, and stuff like that. I think it's time for us to turbocharge our efforts and developing our country economically and politically to make sure that we're a strong nation that can be able to self sustainable. Yeah,
What is the role of youth, individually and collectively? You know,
the
I
role
mean,
of
I'm sure there are too much, but what do you see immediately? Like your role individually,
as myself.
yourself, and also collectively. What do you foresee? What do you want to see?
I just want to help my country in any way possible. And to give you an example, back in 2021, I remember my high school was getting ready to throw away a couple of projectors, network equipments, even computers as well. And all of them were like pretty new. Like some of them were even in the box, like it hasn't been unopened. Like, here, let me show you something. I'm gonna be right back.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we're enjoying the show. لكنك مهارنا دسبلنا.
So, you know what a network switch is?
Network switch, I should understand that. I don't know which kind. What kind.
I don't know if you could see it properly.
Okay, okay. I see. It's like telephone hookup.
No, it's what you
Yes.
connect a bunch of computers and to get connected to the internet. And I even have another one as well. Both of them were from my high school, right? And that's just as an example. And my school was getting ready to throw them away, as in throw them in the trash. And then
Wow.
I'm like, what? Like these are like perfectly working technology equipments. Why would you throw them away? And then I'm like, huh, I got an idea. That little brain cell just kicked in my head. Why don't I send them to Eritrea? That was the thing that came into my mind. So I was like, I asked my friend Jose. He had a truck, and we just loaded all of the equipments in that truck.
God
And
bless.
yeah, and then after that, we took it to somebody's house. His name is Alos. He was the Eritrean community leader in my city. And then there was another person named Asmara, and God bless her, man. She really helped us a lot in, making sure that we were able to pack these equipments up and then send them over to Eritrea. So that's kind of like what I did. It was like, it was an opportunity that I took,
Absolutely.
but that I think that we should also have more initiatives like that. Like in a world where technology is developing, we can't be using pencils and papers no more. You gotta have the ability to access the internet to retrieve information to learn. Like even the internet is a library now. You don't flip through textbooks anymore. In fact, whenever I go to college, I mean, you have like a laptop and you just have like an online textbook. So I think we should really as youth, we should like do more initiatives like that. And it's not only me who did that. There's, I think, an initiative called Project Rora, which allowed for a digital library to be installed in Eritrea. And there's, I believe, people that are sending servers, fax machines, um, like printers, just any like computer related peripheral, and they would send them over to Asmara. So I really think that the youth should do more initiatives like that, especially in the technology field. And we should also be helping and educating our country, developing a solid curriculum, helping our country grow on an economical level, because the youth can just pick up on knowledge real quickly and help develop our country.
Very interesting. Project oriented, basically project oriented experience. That's what we need to do. Like what you say, project. You collected something, you saw an opportunity, and then, yo, man, I'm going to send this one home and see what they can do with it. That is what they call concern. That's what they call responsibility. We have to be project oriented. What we know here, we're going to have to take home or some kind of way. Son, one of the biggest things we have to do is also education, as you know. Without education, nothing happens.
Yeah, yeah. For like, take politics and everything aside, there is no way you can grow a country on an economical level if the people are not educated. Because you need to have educated people to be in the workforce. If you don't have educated people to in the workforce, you really don't have a working economy.
But what I'm saying is, like, when I see the refugees right here in America or
Yeah.
elsewhere, I feel very depressed sometimes because Nigerians do not come here to go and wash dishes, man. They go to college. Other Africans come here and the receptors, they receive them and they guide them to go to school. In our situation, nothing like that. I feel sorry for my generation not doing it. I feel sorry. But is it something that you guys can do? For example, in this area, what I'm talking about is young college uh, educated or college goers kind of organizing like a speech or summit or some kind of video, this kind of communication. This is at your disposal, for example, to educate the young kids how to be writers, how to go to college being an IT specialist, an engineer.
There are people that, I mean, I wouldn't say that none of this is happening. Like there are, like, a lot of Eritreans in the diaspora that are graduating, doing very successful things. I mean, we have this person. Her name is Haben Girma, and she graduated from Harvard, deaf and blind, making our country proud. And there's also Eritreans in tech. I think our main issue right now is trying to build a good relation with our country right now. Because one thing that I learned is that if you ever want to do an initiative in Eritrea, you have to go through the government, whether you like it or not. So I think we need to work on, bridging that gap, bringing both sides together as one, so that way we can work together and achieve the common goal. Because at the end of the day, we really want what's best for Eritrea.
Absolutely, it's only political difference anyway. There is no reason for us to go to war for that. We have
Yeah,
already gained independence. Everything can be done peacefully. Good relationship with the government is mandatory.
mandatory. That is true.
Mandatory, and I appreciate that. Bridging that gap, bringing the family together. Politics is secondary anyway.
Mhm.
Political change can be done by cooperating with the government. We can enhance the government to change itself, you see. But people have to participate.
Right.
People have
But
to participate, you know.
mhm.
You mentioned Haben Girma. I'd like to bring her here if she's available because graduating from Harvard, we're talking about leadership in our own country, political leadership in our country. So the education part, for example, I think our refugees, the whole refugee, when I talk about refugees, your parents, me, the rest maybe not you, of course, you are Black American now, no problem. But us, the refugees, and of course we have kids also that have become refugees as kids and stuff. One advantage I see is collective advantage that I see is like all these experiences we gain from outside in different international arenas, different environments, different linguistic setups. You know what I'm saying? And different governmental accommodations, democracy, whatever we talk about. Do you see bright future? All these people going back home from different experience in trying to do what the Eritreans are known to do, hardworking people.
Of course, yeah. I mean, at some point, things are going to change for the better. It could be, depending on, geopolitics in the region, or even up to something like, immediate reforms, which is something that I'm pretty sure most Eritreans nowadays would like to see. And when those changes do take place, I mean, we will be able to prosper in our country. As for when, I really don't know. It's you can't really predict, especially in a area where geopolitics is extremely hostile. But one thing that I'm going to tell you though is that things will change. It'll improve for the better, of course. And I think the people back home are, doing whatever they can to support their country and work hard. So I really respect them a lot. So yeah, I just think that we should always remain positive, no matter what the circumstances, even if what we see on the news and social media may be upsetting for us. We always just have to have a positive mindset and know that things will get better. Because Vietnam has had its dark days, China has had its dark days, the Soviet Union also had its dark days. Every country that you can imagine had its dark days or its dark years, but we will overcome it. And another thing is that I'm not trying to downplay issues that happen back home or in the world, but from looking at us, we often to be better off than other countries. When I went to Asmara, it was very peaceful. The people seem to get along together and stuff like that. In other countries, you don't have to worry about a bomb, being dropped on your house or anything like that. So that's the one takeaway that I want to say. But I'm not saying that, um, I'm not saying that there's no issues back home. Of course, there's issues back home, just like how there's issues in every country. But
Yeah.
I'm confident that things will change. That's what I would like to say.
I think the hardest part of our struggle, so-called struggle, was just denial. Our country is in good shape, man. I mean, given all the problems I'm talking about,
Yeah.
we are now the safest in Africa. At least in Eritrea, nothing happens, man. Okay?
Nothing happens. You can even walk at night and you don't have to worry about somebody drawing a pistol on you, or, having a blade up to your neck. Just be like, where's your money? You don't have to worry about
Well,
all
we
of that.
cannot appreciate the value of our people gained through a lot of hardships and all this kind of thing.
Yeah,
We have peaceful country, man.
you do.
We have a very united people. We have a harmonized environment, and then we're safe within each other.
Amen to that.
Gratitude is what's lacking.
You
Check
got to
out
be
what's
thankful.
going on in Israel, in Gaza, and all that kind of thing. Check out what's going on in Ethiopia, in Sudan.
Oh,
Come on, man. We have to appreciate what we have, Tangai. Uh, very peaceful, very beautiful people have actual, and then strong government and army, Tangai.
yeah.
But at the same time, nothing is complete in life.
Nothing is perfect. Yeah, I do agree. Yeah, there are some things that I don't really agree with. That's all I'm going to say. But we tend to be better off when we look at our neighbors. I'm not saying that as a way to brag, but sometimes I guess we tend to forget how we should be grateful for the things that we have right now. Because, yeah, we don't want to end up becoming another Libya or Iraq or anything like that.
We also forget that our peace, our unity, harmony, and safety is a product of the government's productivity.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
How
strong
about
government, if you have a strong government that creates fear, and that makes people want to like, be behaved and, not do any crimes. So, and I think that was the case for Singapore as well. They had a pretty strong government, but they also did have like, pretty good economic policies and stuff like that. I think that was what Eritrea was trying to go for in the mid 90s, if I'm not mistaken, as like a role model, I guess you could say.
well, we have a lot of problems, of course. And we say, I
Yeah.
mean, like any government, I'm not talking about you're gonna have to change it by force or you're gonna have to back to that. No,
Hmm.
our problems are something we can sit down, discuss, and resolve.
We do, yeah. All it really involves is the ability to like listen to one another. But the problem is that, in politics, some people can just have like really strong feelings, or they might have gone through something in life to the point where they have already solidified their political views. If you go up to any old person, their political views have been very consistent for a very long time. And that is mainly because of the things that they've seen on the news or their life experiences. So that's kind of like my understanding of like, how people develop their political opinions. And that's just the nature of it.
Well, when you be, yes, I'll tell you, if you are a political person as such, you want to have power. You will have to grudge it out. You will have to kill. You will have to lie. You understand? There is no politics safely acquired as such as hierarchy, highest hierarchy level of the structure. Politicians are liars. Politicians deceive people. Politicians are ambitious, you see.
Hmm.
Some of them are good, some of them are terrible. In any case, when you play with politics, it's shrewd and then, of course, very, very nasty. One way Eritreans have to do, I think, is like if we decide to cooperate, accept the government as it is, no non-violent stuff, then it should give us this capacity, this offer should also gain us the freedom to communicate freely
Hmm.
in speech, in writing, and all that kind of thing. Going to Asmara, sitting down in a bar, talking about the government, goodies and baddies shouldn't bother the society at all because we're one and the same. If we have trust and then real feeling of hominess, then we shouldn't have it. We are a family, that's what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
Therefore, we have the peacefulness, unity, harmony, and safety of our people in the background that we can stand on very strongly, what do you call, gravitated on. Therefore, our problem is not really that much. In fact, I appreciate the government for going through all this hustle bustle and then maintain our nation as such. But what are our immediate problems today? What do you think the reforms from positive angle that we should change uh, in our country? Of course, the government has to change few things. That's what we're talking about reform.
Hmm.
What are those reforms we peaceful Eritreans, me and you,
Hmm.
without a fight, are saying at this point? I mean, for you, what is that? What are those immediate reforms that we should make?
I mean, of course, one thing that we would need to do is, convene our parliament, install a constitution, and make sure that whatever reforms that we do are within the values of our revolution, which is making sure that we're a country that, depends on social equity, fairness. I believe Eritrea is more of a welfare society, and I think that was kind of the ideology of our revolution for the most part. Releasing people that have been in prison for way too long. That's been a personal opinion of mine too, just so that way we can have closure, and move on and open a new chapter. That's my personal opinion. I'm not going to get into the intricacies of it, but I think that if we really want to move forward, those are like the three steps that we need to take, and of course, economic reforms as well, just so that way we can, grow our country. But that doesn't happen overnight, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you put it very, very beautifully in such a short word. You're talking about lawfulness. When you talk about constitution, it's about law. Everybody
Yeah.
knows that. But
Yeah.
you're not asking too much. No, 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 no. It's just basic things that human beings gotta have. Fairness. Fairness is so beautiful to be fair to each other. How
Hmm.
do you become fair? By becoming forgiving. Forgiving.
Forgiveness is the first step to, like, healing. Yeah, I
Absolutely.
agree.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, go ahead.
Oh,
It smells very good. Forgiveness. Even the word is so beautiful. Compassion. It's just beautiful. So spiritually enhancing, you know what I'm saying? It produces love. It produces trust, you see what I'm saying? And of course, these areas asking the government to do something about this, to give mercy to the sufferers of injustice. It's not bad. It's not bad.
hmm
Economic reforms, we need that. Of course, What
Yeah,
I'm trying to call right now is instead of the kind of dirty politics we were playing before, about a few years ago, whatever, I think we can change.
it's a matter of time.
Just
That's like our main factor right now, because you can't convince people about, oh, we have this problems, we should do this immediately now. That's something that takes even a long time if it needs to, and we just have to let time run its course, unfortunately. That's my personal view.
we can change the meaning of politics because we Eritreans, if we played dirty politics like we had to get here, meaning like in the armed struggle, it was killing. We had to kill into that. Finally, we had to be unfair to each other after that. Okay, all this past, can we change our politics from shrewd politics into spiritual politics? I think we can. Like what you say, if we are united, if
Hmm.
we care for one another, what is the problem for not having spiritual politics all the way?
Hmm. Yeah, I
Spiritual
think we should.
politics within ourselves.
Hmm.
Shrewd politics next to that. That's what
Right.
that's
The
my
thing about politics, though, is that it's always a competition. Like I think the brother of George Bush, said that politics was a contact sport. You're always going to be throwing jabs here and there to make your opponent look bad and stuff like that. It's always a competition. At the end of the day, it never really works for the people at times. That's one thing that I noticed. But in the case of our politics, which is really unique, I really think that we should heal, bridge the gap, and work together. Because if we really want to expedite the goals that we have, which is like developing our country politically, economically, socially, I mean, we can't be divided and do two different things at the same time. We all have to be one. I think the word that I was looking for is the Marshall Plan. The Marshall Plan is a good example. That brought unity, and it helped people like develop. Was it World War II where they had the Marshall Plan where they developed Germany?
well,
Yeah, that is Germany. Anyways, I'm going a little bit off topic, but in the case of us, we should really work together to help develop our country. That's my goal. On both sides of the spectrum, put our differences aside, make compromises, work together, and achieve the common goal.
absolutely. And then we all got to understand what kind of government we have right now is definitely what had to be after the armed struggle is over. There's no government that goes to democracy immediately. Take it easy. Let's just take it easy. We've learned a lot of things.
In the world with Libya and all that, yeah, we've definitely seen a lot, and we don't want to be another Iraq or another Libya or another Yemen or Sudan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm really happy about this day. Definitely, we could talk a whole lot of things. Let this be the first one, meaning it gives me the courage to increase intensity in this attitude, like unlike to me, haven't possible and other productive Eritrean youth from our diaspora community because you got a lot of things to do, but you are the ones who will transform the country one way or another.
There's many other people like me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I would really appreciate if you introduce us to that. We also like to bring artists here, man, and talk about their art stories. It's not only about politics. We got to go to all directions. Uh, I do appreciate all this. Do you have anything else to say? Like, we will definitely meet again. First of all, please, ladies and gentlemen, you got to buy his book, okay?
Should I post a link in the chat?
Yeah, of course. And where is it available? Is it in Amazon Books?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. Let me go ahead and find it right now.
لك إيريك نقول لنا ولا نحن I'm sorry I have to say it again نحن ولا كنا نبوت هذا عنا بإنجليش هجي كريسماس مثلا كبير
Christmas.
أو على لي يوم كم عينات سبات يوم كتب you cannot just let go this kind of opportunity all right Christmas time is coming buy the book okay support our author and also introduce him to the kids. قول اتنام انت كبرتوا. Christmas gift. Make sure every Eritrean makes Christmas gift out of this book. Comes out لكم أنا okay, the book is, I will buy it immediately, of course. Sorry, I didn't get a chance to read it myself. But it's called, man, My Key Shaped Country. My Key Shaped Country. بعله أرتي. مفتاح تمثل هاجري. يلوك مرت كله نتنقل.
Hey Fitzlum, you know that cover picture that you were looking at?
Let me see. I didn't pay attention. Let me.
Who? What street is that? It looks.
Oh, Combistato.
Hmm?
What you see is actually one of our best hotels in Hyderabad.
Ambassador Hotel.
Ambassador Hotel.
Yeah. You know, I wonder who took that picture.
I like to be in Azamara at this point in time.
Yeah, I took that picture, by the way, in
You took
2022.
this picture yourself.
Yeah, I took it. And then I just decided, why don't I just make it a book cover so you could just see the cars passing by and stuff like that. That was kind of like the main aesthetics of the book.
It's a big book.
Huh?
How many pages is it?
It is 245 pages.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's just a complete full-fledged book.
I was planning on going on 300, but shoot, it would cost a lot to print.
Well, I mean, the rest of it can make another book.
That is true. Yeah, I might.
It's
I
a
might. Who knows?
full-fledged book.
Huh?
There's a lot of things in that book, ladies and gentlemen. Anubulu, Afu, and please let us read. Our main problem in this experience as an Eritrean is lack of readers. It's creating a lot of knowledge gap. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We are missing our priorities because of that. Because majority of our people may not understand English. Okay.
That is true. I am working on translating the book. I'm in contact with somebody in Asmara that can help me do that process. So I'm working on that, because I do want.
Anybody who want to do it right here, please contact us too.
Oh yeah, reach out to me if you can. I'd really be able to get in contact with you so we can work
The
together.
first comer survives. It's a business deal we're talking about. I'm having a problem translating my books to Tigrinya. Nobody showed up yet. Please don't miss this opportunity. Do not miss this opportunity. Benefit your society, benefit the outer.
You put the link in the chat.
Yeah, please. I mean, give them all the information you have. You can put it here, and what we're going to do is I will also talk about it next time in certain areas. But the book is called, ladies and gentlemen, if you type the name of this book in Amazon Books, you will find it. And please shop it before Christmas and get it over with. Okay? يزوخوا من الوكم علينا إذا ما تحافظ عدقوا ما عاد كي تفيلوا ما عاد كي تفيلوا نقول عندكم كمروا in fact the تمام زيزو ولادهم من السياد kids that are born in America or else can learn in the language they understand in English. So please help Daniel Mulugeta. We really appreciate you for writing a book about our country. This is too much gift for us. The least we can do is buy this book and learn from it. I think so. Is there anything you can talk?
Let's get united. Let's start working. Let's put our differences aside and let's work for the common goal. That's all I got to say.
Beautiful. I think it's so beautiful. We appreciate كلكم سلام نبلوكم again كلمتين ريكم لكم. I'm not going to blow smart teacher like this who has proven himself already. Okay, so as you can get and then I guess just take about 2 minutes. Let's listen to you, man. Spontaneously. Take 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I just want to listen to your wisdom for the end of it. I'm talking about. Maybe.
I think the oldest person has the more wisdom more experience means more wisdom. So I would like to hear what you have to say.
Well, don't you think I'm out of time, though?
No,
I have expired.
no, you have not.
The time is for you to take over, you understand?
Oh yeah, it is time. Well,
Somebody has to be dislodged for somebody to come inside. It's you. You're not Kamadrahi. This
mhm.
is your stage. We can only back you up from the side.
Yeah.
You
I
are the
mean,
main actor of the show.
the only thing that I could say is, let's have the youth get united. Let's work together and let's work for the common good of our country. Because the older generation are starting to fade away, and now the time for us to take over the reins is coming in. So let's take the bull by its horn. Now that's the saying that my father would always tell me. Yeah,
I really appreciate it for giving me the chance to do my first English interview.
of course.
We tried to do it with other Africans in China. It didn't work. They
You
changed. They closed
you,
it.
you opened another market. You got an English demographic now.
Thank you. And then I definitely will see you again.
Oh yeah.
Let's keep in touch. And everybody who was here, who are here, we appreciate very much your support. And then we will continue this. And let's consider it as an initiative to collect our diaspora intellectual property as Eritreans. And thank you very much, Danny.
Thank you, Fitzum. I'm honored to have you, or I'm honored to be on this platform. Excuse me.
I love you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Peace out.
بلو دحان وعلو كيدو الله كم زجرنا قلتنا كنا مهر كنا مايت مرحتي كنفتر اوكي مصحف قليل اخونا انا استمكركو I tried books and I mean it consumed almost most of my life. I'm still hooked to doing it. Okay. I'll continue doing it. I got one last book to put on before I go. And that is my mission right here. I was set up, destined to write 4 books in this life. 3 of them are done, 1 left to go. And then I'm working about 5, 6 pages at a time at this point. It's called spiritual engineering. Okay. It is about spiritual engineering. Right now, we call it spiritual engineering. Sometimes I call it death is the foundation of life. Death is the anchor of life. As I pack up to go to the next phase of existence, as I am just about to close my last chapter of life. Ladies and gentlemen, I love you. Keep supporting us. I'll see you next time. God bless you. God really bless you. God bless you, my people. Everything is going to be peaceful. Eritrea will survive.